Today I will tell you a story about a broken girl in a broken family with crumbled dreams full of despair, heartbreak and nightmares. A story about a girl who wanted to be good, but the world is not always kind to those who wish to be good. The girl followed the rules, she did as she was told, she obeyed, she listened, but the more she listened, the more trouble she got in and the more pain she caused. The voice whispered, the voice guided, the voice did not tell her to be good. The voice told her to follow, and she did. She listened to that voice, seeking his approval every chance she got, but no matter what she did he would never seem to care. She wanted so badly to be a part of that voice's world, but no matter what happened nothing would ever work. She was used, abused, broken just like the others. One day, the girl found a mask, a rabbit mask, with empty, staring red eyes. When she wore the mask, the voice was louder. It was no longer a whisper, it brought her back and comforted her. It was a command, and so the girl became something else. Something that was not herself. Maybe this time she could make her father proud. Maybe not. Perhaps another time.
Greetings my FNAF fanatics, and welcome to the channel. Today I will be addressing and theorizing on the possible identity of Vanessa in the Five Nights at Freddy's games. Now, before I get started, please be sure to grab your favorite Fizzy Fazz and Michael's Buttered Popcorn, leave a like and subscribe, and let's get started. The story of Vanessa is a complicated one, but an interesting one to say the least. She was originally supposed to have a huge impact in the Steelwool era as Vanny in the newer FNAF games, but as time grew on, they had other plans. Anyways, enough about my rant on how they have mistreated Vanny as a character. It's time to explain and figure out who she is in the games and what her secret role is in the story. So, Sister Location shows us a representation of William and his wife in Immortal and the Restless. With his separation from his wife for a while, but then getting back with her later on. This could even work for the films if you believe the Mike Schmidt-Afton theory. So, Vanessa dresses up like a bunny, like her supposed dear old dad William. William being the yellow rabbit and Vanessa being the white rabbit. She also looks a little like Elizabeth. While looking at her character model closely, she even has purple nail polish, green eyes, and blonde hair like Elizabeth. We know that Scott told Steelwool to put certain things in certain places, so Vanessa's model and her resemblance to Elizabeth could be very intentional. Am I saying she is Elizabeth? No. I'm saying she looks like Elizabeth because I think she's an Afton. While yes, her file being tampered with could be weird, but under her being an Afton, who's to say Fazbear Entertainment or someone else didn't tamper with it to hide her family legacy. That's not all though, because we learned from Security Breach that Vanessa is a security guard who was given her job by some mysterious person and put into therapy from someone high up. This is shown in a log you collect in Security Breach. And, not to mention, she also has a fake last name like Mike in the games, Mike Schmidt, Mike Afton, and then you have Vanessa Shelley, Vanessa Monroe, you name it. So, to start off with the main evidence, I want to address that Vanessa is made into William's daughter in the film.
His name is William Afton. He's my father.
And Matthew Lillard said in an interview that the movie is there to explain the gaps in the game's lore.
To deliver lore, right? So much of the game is like fans have for so long filled in the blanks, and our job is to fill in where we can and what Scott and Emma thinks appropriate.
Also, keep in mind that Steelwool said that Scott didn't talk to them about the lore much.
And it was just really difficult. I think that's really the only example when my idea of how a game was going to go was misaligned with how things were going with Steelwool. And I had a specific story for this in mind. Okay, for Security Breach, I really did. I had a very specific story in mind, and it is very different than the one that got in the game. And I think a part of that is the way that I conveyed that to Steel Wool, because what I was trying to do was I was trying to tell Steel Wool to do specific things throughout the game, put specific items in specific places.
And so with that being said, I think Security Breach was heavily implying Vanessa Afton. And what better way to clear up her identity than in the film, where everyone would be watching? How, you ask? Vanessa in the games has a surname beginning with A, as shown on the official Game Jolt account. And her abusive father is named Bill, which is another name for Will. She connected Glitchtrap, a yellow rabbit, to said abusive father. While, yes, this is in fact the mimic depending on what you want to believe, Vanessa would be the perfect pawn for Glitchtrap. This makes so much sense considering her trauma with the tapes, not to mention that the tape player is specifically in the Mike Afton room, which is another connection to the Aftons. In the Stafton table, in Security Breach, we see what is a representation of an underground burrow, Vanny's burrow, with a family gathering of a family at a table representing the Aftons. There is a missing spot at the table across from the mother that no one is sitting at. I believe this is Vanessa's spot at the table across from her mother, while she stares at her feeling the guilt of what she did to her mom in court because of her abusive father. This also reminds me of the Funtime Afton theory, where the Funtimes represent the Aftons. You have Funtime Freddy, who could represent the crying child, with the bite of 83 and his connection to Golden Freddy. Then you have Bon Bon, who could represent William, the Fredbear plush that manipulated crying child. And Bon Bon telling Funtime Freddy to go back to his stage. Then you have Circus Baby, who obviously represents Elizabeth, then Funtime Foxy, a Foxy animatronic to represent Mike the Foxy Bro, who canonically gets jump scared by his character as a sort of karma thing. Then you have Ballora, who is Mrs. Afton, and of course, who is the missing one of the bunch, who also has her own separate location. Funtime Chica, who is also a girl, who could represent Vanessa's place separated from the family. Remember, William built the Funtimes, creating his own perfect, twisted family. But that's not all. Remember, William is a fan of symmetry.
Symmetry, my friend!
And you have 2 boys and 2 girls. So if you believe Vanessa has a connection to Funtime Chica, and believe she is in fact the princess from Princess Quest, it even supports this theory that she loves Chica or has some sort of admiration for Chica. Interesting thing to note, there is a random Chica in the background of Princess Quest, but that's not where it ends, because I recently made a discovery upon editing this video in Security Breach Ruin. There is a game called Chica's Feeding Frenzy, and in the game, there you could see an 8-bit Vanessa for some reason. Again, connecting her to Chica in some way, shape, or form. Not to mention the Chica Shrine in the sewers of Security Breach. So, I know you're confused and wondering how this works timeline-wise. Well, considering William is Springlocked 30 years, well, the 30 years could be the closing of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza after the MCI making it 1985, and Follow Me 2015 as implied in the story from Fazbear Frights, You're the Band. While it is non-canon due to timeline problems, however, I believe this is because Mike is said to be in his 20s. Also, the new kid, another story in Fazbear Frights, is implied to be in the 2010s, and if you put FNAF 3 in 2023 next to FNAF 6, then we take Vanessa's email and AR, S97, take the 9, turn it into a month, September. Take the 7, turn it into a year, 2007, Vanessa's birthday. Security Breach takes place in 2035 and AR in 2030. She would be 28 in Security Breach, just as stated. So my only issues with this theory so far is the movie is a different story, considering it's an alternate universe set in a different FNAF timeline. Also, the Funtimes connection could be a huge stretch and coincidence, as well as the connection between Chica being a favorite character of Vanessa could also be a stretch, considering there's not much to go off of. Also, the fact that I'm also basing Vanessa and Princess Quest off another theory. Well, I may be biased in this theory, as I've believed Vanessa wasn't Afton ever since the release of the film. I know it's an ongoing debate, and it's been an ongoing debate for a while now, but I just wanted to find more stuff to back up this theory. I think I fully convinced myself. Overall, I'm calling this theory Funtime Vanessa. I would give this theory a 9 out of 10, as I think it's really creative and solid. Heck, I even blew my own mind. With that being said, I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!